All right, what is up? Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and we are back with some Glory Days pro football testing and getting pretty close to a final production, final format and additions to the cards, I should say. So one thing that will not be in this game, because I started this offline before I'd started to implement traits, will be the traits that, again, trying to move the football games more in line with the engine of Glory Days boxing. Traits will be available for some teams, both in the all-time great set and regular season sets as well. So actually, excuse me, looking forward to that and actually excited about that. I think that will definitely add some variety to the game, which will make the games in some cases more unpredictable, in some cases play up to team strengths or weaknesses, and ultimately, I think and hope, give a better football experience. So we're going to jump into this one. This is the Battle of Ohio. Two of the all-time great teams that have not been featured in this series of videos leading up to release of this game, which will again be early next year, probably right around the Super Bowl. So the Cleveland, 1964 Cleveland Browns, 1981 Cincinnati Bengals. We are at halftime, and I'll get you up to speed on stats. Browns currently lead 17-3. Cincinnati took the opening kickoff and marched down the field, settled for a field goal. Cleveland, no team did much in the first quarter after that. Then Cleveland absolutely took over in the second quarter. They scored 17 points to lead 17-3 at the break. And the big catalyst behind that, as you would expect with this Browns team, is Jim Brown. 16 carries, 89 yards, and 2 first-half touchdowns. Other stats of note, Frank Ryan was 11 for 18 in the first half, 134 yards. Collins had 4 receptions for 61. He was the leading receiver. For the Bengals, not much to brag about in terms of yardage. Cincinnati actually only had 105 total yards in the first half, 34 rushing, 71 passing. They were led by Pete Johnson, 4 carries, 17 yards. Archie Griffin had a couple of totes for 6. And Ken Anderson, 7 for 12, a very pedestrian 7 for 12, 71 yards. So we are going to get going in the second half, and all right, so receiving the second half kickoff will be Cincinnati. And each team will have, well, there'll be 5 possessions in the third quarter total and 5 possessions in the fourth quarter. So we're ready to go. And close this down. All right, kickoff chart. And again, on the kickoff, Cincinnati on the return is going to be a B, and Cleveland is an E, so they do not get it deep very often. And 3E, that kickoff is going to come down to the goal line. That's going to be returned. And 36 yards on the return, so the Bengals start the second half in good shape as we jump into the drive mode of the hybrid. Again, we're playing the hybrid version of this game. Glory Days Football offers 3 different ways to play. You can play hybrid, which is first half of the drive is simulated, and then you jump into play-by-play. Once you get into plus territory, you can play a full quick game mode where each drive is basically resolved within 2 to 3 rolls. And finally, you can play the full play-by-play mode. It is set up for all 3 methods. All right, so the Bengals on their 36, and numbers in this one, Cleveland with a drive defense of 7, as does Cincinnati. So both teams are operating on a +3 on the drive chart, which is the chart you see on the screen right here, meaning Cincinnati only has to have a roll of 28 or more to have a successful drive. And they barely squeeze that out with a roll of 30. So 17, and again from the 36-yard line, that's going to be 6 plays, 34 yards. And that gets it down to the Cleveland 30-yard line. The 2D6 roll is an 11. And down and distance situation on that is going to be, down and distance will be 7 defense. That is going to be a 3rd and 2. So 3rd and 2 for Cincinnati from the Cleveland 30-yard line. As we jump into play-by-play mode. All right, 10 on the D20 and 3rd and 2. That is going to be a run attempt by Alexander. And of course, Cleveland expecting a run here, so it's going to be 1 to the offensive trench control roll, I'm sorry. And that makes it a 5, which is 1 star, and 6 for the defense, though, and tough break for Cleveland. This is going to be an offensive trench control win. And Alexander on the carry is an L, and that is going to be enough for a first down as he plunges forward for 3, not 3 yards. Actually 2 yards, so we're going to have a measurement. Never mind. All right, measurements again. You roll the D20. If it is equal to or less than the defensive drive rating, it is 4th, and it is. So 4th down, and we'll call it under a yard here, and Cincinnati 100% is going to go for this. All right, here comes the roll, and Cleveland crowding the box. The play call is going to be 9 on the D20. That's going to be a run to Johnson, and again, that unfortunate break. This time, it's going to be 4 on the offensive roll, and it's going to be a defensive trench control win with a roll of 1 on the red die. And Cincinnati or Cleveland's defense is an I. All right, I3, and that is going to be, actually defense has a letdown. I'm sorry, first of all, you roll this. It's an I, and 2 is actually going to be the roll. 2 is going to be a 5-yard gain as the defense misses a tackle in the hole, and down to the 22-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bengals. And 13 on 1st and 10, that is going to be a pass to Ross, who is a K rating. And trench control roll is going to be for Cleveland 2 stars, and Cincinnati roll of 3 on the pass offense. That's also 2 yards or 2 stars. We have a stalemate, and 4 on the stalemate chart. 0 to 5 is complete. And 9 on the reception, 9K on the stalemate is going to be a gain of 6 yards. If defense had been in control, that would have been a fumble. But a stalemate, no fumble could occur. So it's going to make it 2nd down and 4. Cincinnati just outside the 15-yard line. Ken Anderson brings the team up to the line of scrimmage. And I actually need to mark my completions. I'm doing all this with the Excel helper and obviously the charts on the computer, which slows things down quite a bit. I have not printed the most recent charts, the most recent prototype. All right, so back at it. It's 2nd down and 12. That is going to be a pass to Collinsworth. Collinsworth is an H. Actually, I'll just do the whole roll again. Never mind. 17 on 2nd down. That is going to be a pass to Kreider. And 7, that is going to be offensive wins trench control. That's going to be incomplete, so that makes it 3rd down and 4 for the Bengals now. All right, Ken Anderson needs to come up with something big here on this drive. A 3rd and 4. And we go to the 3rd down and 3 to 5 chart. And a roll of 11. That is going to be another pass intended for Collinsworth. And better luck this time, that's going to be a 4 on the offensive trench control roll, which is 2 stars and 2 stars on the defense as well. So we have a stalemate. It is complete. And Collinsworth and H, complete to Collinsworth on the stalemate chart, is going to be a gain of 15 yards. And down to the 1-yard line, Cincinnati 1st and goal. Collinsworth has had a couple of big receptions in this game. 1st and goal, and doubles on the 6s mean a possible penalty. 13 on 1st down, and it's going to be a play action pass to Ross. And roll of 8, that is going to be incomplete. Let's see if there is a penalty. And 15, there is no penalty. 2nd down and goal. All right, 2nd goal, and Alexander is going to get the carry on this one. And again, doubles. It's going to be a stalemate. And Alexander, L on the stalemate chart. That is going to be a run of 1 yard, so it's going to be close, but we have another penalty to check. And we will do a measurement for that. 16 is no penalty. So again, the optional measurement rule comes into play. Well, actually, no, it's 3rd and 4th down. That's 2nd down, so that's going to be a touchdown. All right, so Cincinnati comes right down the field after basically been stymied after their first drive. And Alexander with the touchdown run. Extra point is up, and 95. That is just good. Clinks off the uprights, but that's going to make the score. (17-10), Cleveland up in the Battle of Ohio, and they are going to line up to receive the kickoff. All right, 2nd drive of the quarter, and here we go. All right, Cincinnati is a D on kickoff, B kickoff return for the Browns. And no penalty on that. That's going to come down to the 5-yard line for Cleveland. And 9 on the return, and 9 on the return is going to be a big play cover. So I don't think this has come up in any of the testing yet. So on the big play cover chart, you won't see it on the, I've got it on the screen, but it won't show up in the window. So on that, you roll big play dice against the coverage rating or the kickoff rating of the defense. And again, in this case, it is a D and a single D10. Basically, all that means is they hustle down the field quickly. And again, you mark this yardage from the 15-yard line on kickoffs. So roll of 8D, or 8B, I'm sorry. That's going to be a 5-yard return. So back to the 20-yard line, and that's where they will jump into their first. I'll do a more thorough tutorial, too, of special teams and how the big play coverage charts work. But Cleveland, they've been moving the ball well since the end of the first quarter. Let's see if that pattern continues. It does not. They're going to be stopped, and that is going to be roll of 12. And punt kick, they're only going to get 5 yards on 3 plays on that drive. So they're in for their second punt. All right, Cleveland punting is a C, 7C. That is going to be a 36-yard punt. So that's going to come down at the 39-yard line, and return on that 2D on the punt return. It's going to be a fair catch. So that's where Cleveland will take over on their own 39. For Cincinnati, I'm sorry. So let's see if the Bengals can continue to ride that momentum as we were passing the halfway point in the third quarter. And they're going to have another successful drive, 68 and roll of 6. It's going to be 5 plays and 36 yards. So that's going to be down to the 25-yard line. All right, down in distance 8 is going to be defensive 7. Will be 2nd down and 6 from that point. All right, 2nd down and 6, Cincinnati in play-by-play mode. All right, play call is going to be a run to Pete Johnson, and he has a rating of I. 1 star versus 1 star, we have a stalemate. And 7i on the stalemate chart, that is going to be a 4-yard gain, so that'll be enough for a first down to the 21-yard line. I'm sorry, make it 3rd and 2, 2nd and 6. 3rd and 2, and once again, Cleveland stacking the box, and 90 or 9 on, that's not going to be a good roll for the offense. So 2 stars, no stars. Offense actually does. That will be a great roll for the offense. Offense wins trench control. It is another run to Johnson. And roll of 9 on the offensive win is going to be a big play. So on the big play chart, you take the roll that you normally do not use here, which is a 6. And 6i is going to be a 27-yard run. That's a touchdown. So 21-yard gallop for Johnson. And Cincinnati is right back in this football game. Extra point and possible penalty on that. It is good. And penalties on the offense will back it up and do it again. This now becomes a 20 to 29-yard field goal. So 0 to 81 now, and it's still good. So the Bengals, fired up at halftime, have come all the way back and have tied this one at 17. Touchdown run by Pete Johnson. All right, and Cincinnati lines up for the kickoff. Each team has one more drive left in this quarter, and 9, that is going to come down to the 10-yard line. And Cleveland on the return, B. For B is going to be a 36-yard return, so they take over at their own 46 in great field position. And looking for a successful roll now on the drive chart. And again, 28 or better. And 37, that's going to be a successful drive. And from the 46, that is 5 plays, 46 yards, automatic first down. That's all the way down to the 8-yard line. So big play there for the Browns. And they're going to jump into play-by-play mode with a 1st and goal. And pretty sure they're going to rely heavily on Jim Brown here, as I think most coaches would. All right, 1st and goal, and 9 on the run. That is indeed going to go to Jim Brown. And the trench control roll, 3 and a 2. So a 2-star versus a 1-star. Offense wins trench control, and Jim Brown breaks off tackle, rated an F. And 5F, that is going to be a 5-yard gain for Brown down to the 3. That makes it 2nd and goal from there. Brown closing in on 100 yards. Call comes in, and Frank Ryan, he's going to try a little play-action pass here in this situation on 2nd down. It's going to be intended for Green. And probably not a prudent decision, as that is going to be incomplete on the stalemate. So that makes it 3rd and goal from the 2. Cincinnati now crowding the box, and everybody knows who's going to get the ball here. 12, and that does indeed go to Jim Brown. Who else would that go to? Offense, it's going to be a defensive win on the trench control. So Jim Brown, 7F, and that's going to be enough still. 4 yards, he busts into the end zone. Gets officially credit for a 2-yard or 3-yard touchdown run. And Jim Brown, that is his 3rd score of the day. Extra point pending. Lou Groza. Kicks up and good. And finally, Cleveland has stemmed the comeback by Cincinnati and regained the lead at 24-17. Cincinnati, 1 more drive left in the 3rd quarter, and then we'll be in the home stretch. All right, so kickoff, that is going to be down to the 10-yard line. And again, neither kicker known for putting the ball deep. 7B on the kickoff return, that's going to be a 24-yarder, so Cincinnati takes over on their own 34-yard line. And looking to continue their 2nd half success. And 20, and Cleveland's defense rises up and gets the stop. It's going to be a 3 and out, 3 plays, 0 yards. And Cincinnati is going to have to punt. This will be their 3rd punt of the day. They also have a missed field goal, as this will close the 3rd quarter. And 9 on the punt. Cincinnati, I'm sorry, I have to click back and forth between screens. This definitely goes much faster when I'm not doing it this way. All right, 9E on the punt, and that is going to be a potential block. 91, and Cleveland almost gets to that. They do not. Instead, it's going to be a 36-yard punt. Be fielded by Cleveland at the 30-yard line, and 1 on the return. And Cleveland is an A on the punt return, and that's going to be 5 yards, almost a big play on that. So they're going to take over first drive of the 4th quarter on their own 34 or 35-yard line. 42. That is going to be a good drive, or 47, and 20 on the return on the roll. It's going to be 3 plays, 38 yards, automatic first down. So that's down to the 27, and a big play there for the Browns. Let's see if they can punch it in and extend this lead back to 2 touchdowns. This is Jim Brown time, and it's going to be a run to Brown indeed. So 5, 1 star, 6, no stars. Offense wins trench control and deuces on the run. And that's that's the only bad result for him on the offensive win. That's only a 2-yard gain for Jim Brown. It's going to make it 2nd down and 8. And Brown now officially is 1 yard shy of 100. So 2nd and 8, Frank Ryan brings Cleveland up to the line of scrimmage. And 20, he is going to throw this one. It's going to be a pass intended for Brewer. And 9, first of all, we'll do the trench control. It is a defensive win and a 9 on the completion roll. And that is going to be bad. That is a possible interception by Cincinnati. So Cincinnati, Cleveland actually has a 1-13 and -1 on Cincinnati's adjustment. So 1-12, this ball is picked. And we'll get the yardage first. So if it's not picked, it will, well, actually it'll be incomplete. So yardage on that intended for Brewer, who is a J. All right, 2J, that is going to be an 8-yard pass. And again, 4, and it is picked off. So that ball, that's huge. Picked off at the 17-yard line by Cincinnati, and interception return. Again, going on the chart here on the game board. 8, and that is going to be a 2D6 as the return yardage. So 3-yard return, so they get that back to the 20, but a big stop there as Ryan is the first interception of the game, and Cincinnati now to capitalize on that and choose some clock as they take over on their own 20. All right, drive results, 43, that is a good drive. So 3, it's 5 plays and 41 yards. Down to the 39-yard line. Down and distance situation, it is going to be 2nd down and 10 from there. So 2nd down and 10 as we jump into play-by-play mode. Lose a dice. All right, it's going to be a run play to Johnson, and it's going to be a trench control win for the offense. So Pete Johnson crashes off tackle, and he's going to break loose for a 4-yard gain. That's going to make it 3rd down and 6 for the Bengals. All right, 3rd and 6 plus. Defense will be expecting a pass here. So if it is a pass, you will add 1 to the offensive trench control roll, which makes a 4 or 5. And 7 is indeed going to be a pass intended for Ross. And on the defensive win there, a roll of 7. All right, so this is a potential sack. If Ken Anderson is not sacked, it's going to be a completed pass. And going to Ross, we'll make sure 7K. Be enough for a first down. It'll be 11 yards. All right, sack rating 1-9 for Cincinnati, -4 for Cleveland. So it's got to be 1-5. And Anderson, not very nimble in the pocket, but he slips the rush there, and it's going to be an 11-yard completion to Ross. That's going to be enough for a first down at the 25-yard line. So Bengals in good shape to tie this game up. Here we go, and that's going to be a 9. First down is going to be a run to Alexander, and 8. Well, first we'll do the trench control. It's going to be a stalemate, 2 stars, 2 stars. So Alexander is an L, 8L on the stalemate chart, and that is going to be a run for only a single yard. So second down and 9 from the 24. Anderson brings the Bengals up to the line of scrimmage, and 16, that's going to be a pass intended for Kreider, who is an I rating if he makes the catch. And on the trench control roll for Cincinnati is going to be 2 stars and 2 stars. We have a stalemate roll of 9 on the stalemate chart, and that is going to be possible sack, and if not a sack, an incompletion, and Anderson again able to throw that away. But more importantly, that brings up 3rd and 9 for the Bengals. And play call on that, they're going to try a draw to Johnson, and again, -1 from the trench control roll on that. And that actually changes it from 1 star to 2 stars. It's going to be an offensive trench control win. And for Johnson, 4I on the trench control win is going to be a 4-yard gain. So that's going to be short. It's going to make it 4th down and 5. And from here, this will be a 37-yard field goal, and they're going to bring in the field goal kicker. 1 for 2 today, and 37 yards, 0-77. Kick is up, and it is good. So Cincinnati scratches a field goal back, and that cuts the deficit to 24-20. As we're moving up on the halfway point of the 4th quarter. All right, kickoff and 9 for Cincinnati. Kickoffs have not been good at all for either team in this game. That's going to come down at the 10-yard line, and 4B on the return. Going to be another 36-yard return, so all the way up to the 46-yard line. Cleveland, short field here. Let's see if they can get another successful drive. Again, an interception ended their last foray down the gridiron. All right, 69 and 69 plus 3. That is indeed going to be a successful drive. As both offenses with the advantage in this one. So roll of 9, and that is going to be a drive of 4 plays, 33 yards, automatic first down. So down to the 21-yard line, and 1st and 10 for Cleveland from there. And in good shape to maybe put this game away. Jim Brown having a field day in this game. So 1st and 10, and they're going to feed the rock to Mr. Brown. It's going to be 2 stars and 1 star, and the defense loses that trench control battle. And 0F, sorry, that is going to be a big play. So Jim Brown. One thing, last thing I'm looking at is toning down big plays in play-by-play mode just a little bit. For some ball carriers, I have them in 2 columns or 2 numbers on the trench control chart. And one thing in compiling trench control stats, basically, which means whether offense wins, defense wins, or if it's a stalemate, probably going to dial big plays back just a tad. For the elite backs, probably still give them 2 shots out of 10 when there's a trench control win for the offense. But getting much past that, definitely cut it down to 1. And same with receivers, too. All right, so that said, big play. And Jim Brown, rating of F and a roll of 7 on the yellow die there. That is going to be D20 plus 20. So this is going to be a touchdown as Jim Brown. That is his 4th touchdown of the day, by the way, as he rumbles 21 yards. And Cleveland, each team will have 1 drive left now, as Brown gets his 4th score, absolutely running wild on the Cincinnati defense. Extra point, 0-97. It is up and just good. Kicker struggling with the extra points today. But that extends the Cleveland lead now to 31-20. Whoops. And Cincinnati is going to have to score here. You're going to have to get a stop and go into the close late mode if they can pull that off. If not, Cleveland is going to be able to run out the clock when they get the ball back. So let's resolve the drive first. Here's the kickoff. And 3. Again, Cleveland horrible on kickoffs. 3E. Pretty much everything is going to be returned except a 0. That's down to the goal line, though. That's positive at least. And 0 on the kickoff return, though. That's going to be a big play. So we're going to go to the big play chart on kickoff returns, which again is on my desktop, so you can't see that. So let's just say there is a TD opportunity there, and the worst they can do is a 31-yard return, and 0, that's exactly what they did, a 31-yard return. So looked like he had a seam, but it closed quickly, and Cincinnati takes over on potentially their last drive on their own 31-yard line. Cleveland's defense needs 1 more stop to salt this away, and 99, and we are going to the event chart. Which I have to grab real quick. Okay, the event chart, and we'll see what we have here. All right, 42. Next 2 drives for both teams end in 3 and outs. Roll for yards and plays on the punt chart for both teams. Well, there you go. That is pretty much going to salt this away. So for Cincinnati, 8, they're going to get 4 plays, 14 yards. Not a good time for that event to come up, and they're going to have to punt from their own 45. We'll resolve the punt, of course, and then do what amounts to the clock-killing drive. Now, in this situation, obviously the event chart, there was 2 drives left in the game. It indicated both teams 3 and outs. In a normal situation, if Cleveland had stopped Cincinnati and got the ball here, they can automatically roll on the punt kick chart just to run out the clock and avoid any turnovers. So that is an option with a lead of 8 points or greater, which I would recommend using. All right, so on the punt, all right, Cincinnati on the punt, that is going to be, they're terrible punting, my goodness. 5E, and that will be 37-yard punt. Down to the 18, and the return was a 0, so that's going to be a big play for Cleveland. And Cleveland, they actually do have that big play capability on the punt return. All right, 6, and that is going to be D20 plus 20. So 34 yards on the punt return. Be all the way down to the Cincinnati 48, and they're just going to kill the clock here as indicated by the event chart. So Cleveland's final drive, 15, is going to go 3 plays and 7 yards, and that is going to do it. And end of game. So let's add up the final stats here. So your final score in this one in the Battle of Ohio looked like Cleveland was going to run away with it early. Cincinnati fought back in the 3rd quarter before the Browns regained their composure and took the lead on their last drive of the 3rd and never looked back. A 31-21 victory for the Cleveland Browns over Cincinnati. All right, so I'm going to, you can't see the Excel spreadsheet, but I'm just going to flesh out the final stats here. And I will add a huge, huge day for Jim Brown. Huge day. Actually, a huge day for the Cleveland ground game in general. And for receiving, a decent day for Paul Warfield as well. Some big plays in the passing game for Cincinnati too. And we will make sure everything balances, and it does. Okay, we are good. Okay, on to Cincinnati now. B. Johnson had a pretty good second half, actually, after shut down completely in the 1st. So next video we will do on this game will highlight the traits and how they work. And again, I'm excited to incorporate that into this game. I was hoping I would be able to, and it is going to work out that way. All right, we have our stats balanced. So first of all, let's go into total team stats. Definitely favors Cleveland heavily there. Total yards, Cleveland 425, Cincinnati 291. 65 plays for Cleveland, 54 for Cincy. And of course, the running game, it was very, very evenly balanced. Cleveland, 38 attempts, 212 yards. They ran wild, passing 213. Cincinnati, 25 for 110 rushing and 181 passing. So let's look at our individual stats for, we'll do the home team first since they lost. All right, running the ball, Pete Johnson, 13 carries for 72 yards. Alexander, 8 for 18. Archie Griffin, 3 for 10. Ken Anderson, 1 for 10. Throwing the ball, Anderson was 17 for 29. 181 yards, no touchdowns. Receiving, Ross, 5 for 53. Collinsworth, 5 for 71. And Johnson, 2 for 8. Nobody else had more than a single catch. And for the Cleveland Browns, the juggernaut that was their running game, Jim Brown, 26 carries, 152 yards, 4 touchdowns for one of the greatest to ever man the position. Green, 10 carries, 48. Ryan, 2 for 12. Throwing the ball, Frank Ryan, 15 for 27, 213 yards and an interception. Receiving, Paul Warfield, 3 for 58. Brown, 3 for 26. Collins, 5 for 80. He had a good day. Green, 2 for 25. And Brewer, 2 for 24. So that is it, guys. The Battle of Ohio goes to the Cleveland Browns, the 1964 Cleveland Browns, 31-20 in a dominating ground game for Jim Brown, as Cleveland gets this one. So again, we'll have a couple of new teams when we do the traits demonstration next. So keep an eye out for that. If you like this, game's coming along. Like I said, it's on schedule. Things are going very well in terms of testing. I've got good feedback on testing. So again, look for this around Super Bowl time. If you like this, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for updates. And we will talk to you later. Have a great night. Anthony with Bleacher Bumps Gaming. Keep rolling and take care.